One night, some would call it morning, around 2 a.m. Had arrived at home late, and my supper was being reheated for me to have it. I turned on a local TV station to watch the repeat of primetime news. And that news, it was about Tyson Estate. For those of you who use Mombasa Road, between Nyayo Stadium all the way to South B South C Bridge near Kongoni Primary School, there is an estate to the south of the road that is called Tyson Estate. Now, something had happened at Tyson, that a body had been found. And that body, the OCPD Langata was telling people that if you know of any person who is unaccounted for, please call the following number so that his people can be found. What had happened was a manhole, there was sewage spilling out of manhole. And when it was spilling out of manhole, the residents were saying that the smell was worse than it usually is. Now, me, I've seen several sewages spill over from manhole, and the smell is terrible. But the residents were saying this one was so terrible that you cannot compare it to the normal sewage. So they called the fire brigade and the police, of course. The fire brigade came, and the fire brigade said that they suspected that wherever the sewage came from, you know, pigs are known to associate themselves with the dirty places. So they concluded that it could have been a case of a pig going and falling into a manhole and then going through the sewage. So they decided to check. So when they went there, they discovered that the body was that of a human being and not a pig. So it is this body that had blocked the human waste, and when they came, they thought it was a pig, but after removing it, they discovered that it was a human body. So they called in the police, and then the police removed it. That is when the press was called, and people were being told that if you know of anybody who is lost, you can call this number. I took that number because I had a strong feeling that I knew who the dead person is or who the dead person was. So I had my supper, slept soundly, woke up the following day around 10, then called the number, the OCPD's number, Langata. I told him, sir, I introduced myself, and one thing, police officers, even during my time, they like getting tips from former police officers, because we are two things. One thing, we used to be police. First of all, we used to be civilian, then police, then civilian again. So their work is very easy because you just go from A, B, C, D. There is no preliminaries. There is no beating about the bush. So I talked to the OCPD and told him that I think I know the person. He asked me, has the person ever been reported to any police office or police station or anything as being lost? I said yes. I told him, can you check with Capitol Hill police post. Those days it used to be a police post, but I think today it is a police station. Now it is a police station. So I told him, can you go to Nyayo, not Nyayo, can you go to Capitol Hill Police Post? Around a certain day, there is a report of a person who is lost and cannot be traced. So Langata people went there, they retrieved the OB number and went and checked with the people who had reported that, and it was confirmed that the person who has been found is the person who was reported lost. Why? Because a part of his clothing was still with the rotten and stinking body. But you know his killer. Funny thing, and it is found in the book of Genesis, the killer just stayed around. Everybody suspected that he had killed, but there was nobody, hakukwa na maiti, which they could prove, but there was some blood somewhere. I'll come to that, which they usually suspect. And the killer used to just stay around. And on the day that the body was found, on the day it was found, the next day, now the day that I had called the OCPD Langata, is the very same day that the killer now decided to run away. And then that is the time when they had been, the police now came to that family, and the killer at that day had told them that he was going home. So they went to Machakos and found him about to board a vehicle to go home. Don't kill. Bishop Muge said, blood of an innocent person will haunt you the rest of your life. Now, this is what happened. This is what happened for that person to be killed. At Nyayo Stadium, there is Madaraka Nyayo Stadium on one side. Then there is a rail on the railway that goes in between. On the other side, there is Baha'i Faith Center, and then there is a 3-star hotel called Cool Breeze Hotel. And next to Cool Breeze Hotel, between Cool Breeze Hotel and the railway, there is a manhole there. And then there is also a plot there. Some people wanted to grab that plot, and the owner, an Asian, fenced the plot and employed a watchman. You all know about this story that people say that people place in plots that this plot is not for sale. This land is not for sale. Yeah. So the Asian placed that and wrote this land is not for sale, and employed a watchman. The watchman was a Luo by tribe. So the watchman was a Luo by tribe, but there are these people whom hawana relatives. Actually, his body is lying in Langata. He was buried there. So he was employed to be the watchman there. So when he was the watchman there, a Luo lady came along. She saw that in that area there was no kiosk. So she approached this watchman and asked him if she could construct a kiosk there and be paying the watchman rent. The watchman accepted, but you know the rent was not the rent as you understand, but the rent was that the watchman would in the morning have breakfast, chai na mandazi, he would have lunch, and in the evening he would have supper. So the watchman had no budget for food. That is the rent that was paid. And she constructed a kiosk there, and on one side she constructed a room where the watchman, no, the room was constructed by the Asian, the room was constructed by the Indian, so that the watchman would guard during the night, and during the day he would sleep in that room. But the lady came and constructed a kiosk aside. So when this watchman, during daytime, he would eat from that from that kiosk and sleep. And at night, the lady had a kiosk and she left all her things there, so they could not be stolen because a watchman was there. And everybody, including me, we used to think that the lady is related to the man, either a cousin or something like that, because they used to treat each other as cousins. But it is after he died that she just said that we are both Luos and we are not related, and this person is an angel because he accepted that I do business at the premises. Now here comes another third person, third Luo person. This now the killer. The killer came. He was looking for a job. He had no place to sleep. He had whatever. And this thing is, let us not just take it to be a Luo issue. It also happens with many tribes. If you go to a place and you have no place to sleep and you have no place to eat, you usually are accommodated by people of your tribe. So the Luoism here is purely coincidental. It is purely coincidental. So this person came. The bed was one. During night time, he slept on the bed. In the morning he would wake up. The lady extended her favor. The morning the two would have breakfast, the two would have lunch, the two would have supper. But during night time, the third person, the killer, would sleep on the beddings, and during daytime the good Samaritan, the angel, would sleep on it. But he used to complain. The guard used to complain that the Asian was not paying him. He had stayed for a long time without any pay. So it was known to the lady, it was known to the killer, the potential killer. But they used to stay. You see, in Nairobi, the two hardest things are where to sleep and what to eat. Those are the two problems that Nairobians face. Any other problem, they don't face. So, since he had a place to sleep and he had a plate to eat, he never had issues. Then you see, in we people, when you are broke, you say, isn't it? But when you are paid, you don't say. This Indian came and paid the watchman all his money. Imagine spending so many months without pay, and your employer just comes and pays you everything. That was the motivation from the murder. So this other person, remember, these are three people, complete strangers. They knew each other on that plot. So this other fellow, either overtly or covertly, he made the other one know that he had a lot of money. So knowing that he had a lot of money, this is what motivated the other one to kill him. At night, God knows when, at night, when this guard was guarding and this fellow was sleeping, he woke up, killed him, and then threw. If you are at Cool Breeze Hotel, you'll see that plot. I don't know, I've not been there for long, maybe it has been developed, but between Cool Breeze and the railway, you'll find there is the sewage manhole. He pulled him and threw him inside the manhole. There was blood, there was even blood to show that whatever. But then the police would not even arrest anybody, would not do anything. This man was being asked what happened. He said, I don't know, I just woke up in the morning and did not find my fellow colleague. And the lady said, well, when she came in the morning, she found the night guard was not there and nothing. So apart from that blood which went towards the manhole, there was no other indication. And you see, there was also this feeling that the man had worked for a long time without pay. Maybe he had been paid and he took all the money and decided to go home. So they could not arrest him, they could not whatever, until the day when the body was found. This lady was found, this kiosk lady, and she identified the clothing as that one of the dead person, and so she's the missing person, and so that is how the person was arrested. Viewers, when I remember such things, even though he was dead and whatever, but he was found and identified, and since he had no relatives, he was buried in Langata. It fills my heart with pride. It makes me happy. It is better than even Order of the Grand Warrior. Or unaonaje?